Welcome! Today I'm gonna do an unboxing. They're usually done by professional YouTube creators who will use their early copies of the latest and greatest, or by someone who wants to get into that category by buying the latest and greatest as soon as it hits the shelves and then, well, open the box and ride the hype. I'm really not any of these because the box I'm gonna do is the Pyramid Hormogauns. And this is really not the latest or greatest. It's actually 2009. Might be the first unboxing of these guys because it's as old as YouTube. Anyway, the reason I opened this box is because, well, I want to get the miniatures inside. Because I want to play with them. And also while at it, I want to talk a bit about the armor save in close combat. Or the lack of such. Anyway, let's get these open. Right out of the box, there are three conclusions drawn. First of all, the bases. They're old ones, with a slit in them. But I don't really mind, because the model looks like this. And, well, me trying to glue this guy onto a flat base will just, well, fall on his face, because, you see, it doesn't really touch the ground. Pretty much nothing touches ground. So I guess it's a good choice there. The sprues, they're three of the same, and they're filled with bodies and claws. And if you don't like bodies and claws, well, don't buy Hormogauns. And the similarity there doesn't really bother me, because these guys are quite easy to assemble. See, it's body and claws, as stated before. And while the model itself might have some little drawbacks there, you see if you assemble this guy there and you see him from up front, it pretty much looked like he's running for the toilet. The legs all squished together there in some sort of pinching maneuver, but well, you hardly see him from that angle anyway. And that really weighs up by the fact that this major joint here is really flexible. You can put the arm in any way you'd like. And I prefer having similar guys with a bit of, well, a lot of flexibility, rather than having something like this Death Guard guy, which might look awesome, but there's one pose and that's it. If you want something else, hey, go Kit Bash. Which in this case is actually also really hard, because this is actually, you can't see it here, but it's actually just 3 parts. And there's pretty much 0 chance of making a difference there. Well, this guy, you can pretty much, you can even put it backwards pretty much, if you think that's the way your Hormogauns is gonna look. Anyway, enough rambling about the models themselves. Let's get on with the armor saves. On to the armor saves. Let's take Mr. Orc here. He's moving in to engage a target. He can choose between this heavily armored Death Guard or this more lightly armored Space Bug. He will fire 4 dice, of which 1.5, well, actually 1.2, but let's make it his lucky day. 2 of his dice will actually hit. In my word, this would represent the number of bullets that actually will hit their target. But as this guy has quite a lot of armor on him, as you can tell, 2 out of 3 will actually bounce on something getting in the way, which seems fair. And if you fire at this little alien here, it doesn't really have that much armor. It might bounce on some little, spiky bits back there, but nothing really. he will actually make 1 out of 6. Pretty much means that every second turn he will actually save 1 out of these bullets. Seems fair. This guy has a lot of armor. This guy doesn't. But if we do move into combat, well, close combat I would say, these 2 dice are actually quite fair. Because that's his average, using his little chopper here. And the same is true for the Death Guard as well. He will also hit 2 on average. Which is actually even true for the Tyrannid. They all hit 2 on average. But it doesn't matter if this orc hits the guy with all the armor or the one without. Let's say that these guys really fail. It's the orc's lucky day, and everyone else has a bad day, I guess. He will hit 2 dice. In my world, that is exactly the same thing. How many of his, blows will actually land on the body of the target? In this case, 2. Wouldn't it be more likely if this guy doesn't get hurt than this guy? I don't think there's anything strange with having an armor save after you hit the target. That would be, the same armor save. And isn't it kind of unfair that this guy that in the compendium even states, he has all these fancy rending claws that rip through armor and whatnot. He's no better than the orc in fighting this Death Guard guy. That doesn't make any difference. Whoops, it falls over easily as well. Once again, I still believe that the game is balanced, but I believe this is also a missed opportunity. The armor save in close combat could be just as much subject to reroll and, retain shenanigans as the armor save in ranged combat. And the only reason I could think of why they wouldn't put it there, because it has a quite natural place, would be to reduce complexity a bit. You already, roll dice and match up and whatnot, but I also believe that the complexity wouldn't be that much more because you already have the same armor save in ranged combat. But that's the, the most plausible reason as to why I believe they left it out. Because, someone must have thought about it. I hope so, at least. It would be a sad meeting otherwise. Hey guys, we forgot the armor save. Well, anyway, those are my thoughts. If you have any other, perhaps better ideas as to why this should not be, please put it in the comments. And, well, until next time, cheers.